Hello students, myself Deepika Prajapati from Computer Department, and today we are going to discuss about the configuration between server and client. So dear all students, we have already seen about how to create Windows rebootable disk in a previous video lecture series, and in this lecture now we are going to discuss about configuration between server and client. So welcome to all of you in our today's video lecture series. So let's start how to configure between server and client. If we want to configure between a server and client, then what step to make between configure server client? So here the configuration server client steps. So we can configure between server and client using following this step. So here one is configuring server client. So the steps to changing server name, first of all. So how to changing a server name? So first of all you have to open server manager from your computer. So first step is configuring server client. For the changing server name as opening the server manager from your computer. Then next click on configure local server. So whenever you open server manager, then you have to click on configure local server. Then next step is click on default computer name. Then next click change in system properties window. Then give new computer name and then click OK and restart your computer system. And after restart you can see the server name change. So this is our step about changing server name. So whenever we want to configure server and client, then we have to first of all following the step for the changing server name. So whenever changing server name, you have to follow this type of step for the change server name as a open server manager. Then click on configure local server. Then click on default computer name. Then click change in system properties window. Then give new computer name. Then click OK and restart the computer, and after restart you can see the server name as a change. Okay. Then next what happened? The second step for the configuring server client step is step to assign static IP address to server. So whenever your server name is changed, then take a next step is assign a static IP address to the server. So whenever you show your server name is changed, then after step number 2 is that assign a static IP address to your server. So how to assign static IP address to server? So following this step, first of all at the lower corner of your screen right click on computer icon. Step number 1 for the assign static IP address to server is that at the lower corner of your screen, right click on computer icon and select open network and sharing center. Then next click change adapter setting. Then find Ethernet adapter and the right click and select property and the double click on internet protocol version, it means TCP IP4, and then select use the following IP addresses as a radio button and then fill in the IP address, subnet masks, default gateway and preferred DNS server and then click on OK button. So this step is assigning static IP address to our server system. So whenever our server name is changed, then you have to follow step to assigning static IP address to server. So how to give assign static IP address to server? So first of all at the lower corner of your screen right click on a computer icon and then select open network and sharing network. Then click on the change adapter setting. Then find the Ethernet adapter and right click and then select the properties. And then double click on internet protocol version 4, it means TCP IP4 and then select use the following IP addresses as a radio button and then fill the IP addresses, give the subnet mask, default gateway and preferred as DNS server and then finally press on OK button. Okay, then next, how to joining client machine to a admin portal. So the steps for the joining client machine to a domain as well as admin portal, then you have to follow this step for the joining client machine to a admin as well as to a domain. So log on to your client machine. Then second step is click on start, select properties of computer, then click on change settings, then system properties dialog box appear, then click on change computer name tab. It will show your computer's name and domain changes. Then give user interface as well as a user friendly name to the client machine, and select domain as a radio button and give the domain name in that, and click OK, and you will be asked for username and password. This detail is used to log on to your server domain controller and after the restart the computer. Here one is domain controller. So what is domain controller? In the next video lecture series we have discussed about this topic domain controller as soon as possible. So dear all student, don't worry what is domain controller. So this topic will be discussed in our next video lecture. So this is nothing but a one type of handling portal for the user. It's known as a domain controller. So the step for the joining client machine to a domain using following this step. So log on to your computer client machine, click on start, select property of computer, then click on change setting, select property, dialog boxes appear, then click on change computer name tab. It will show your computer name and domain changes, and then give the user friendly name to client machine and then select domain as a radio button and then give domain name in that and then click OK, and you will be asked for username and password, and this detail is used to log on your server domain controller and after that restart your computer system. So these steps is for the joining client machine to a domain. Okay, next, setting Windows server. So how to setting a Windows server? First topic of the setting Windows server is creating domain controller. So here one is what is domain controller and how it create. So first of all you have to open server manager, then select manage and click on add roles and features, then click next on the before you begin Windows, then select role based or feature based installation and then click next, then click select server from the server pool and click the name of server to install Active Directory domain services 2 and then click next button, create Active Directory domain services. When the add roles and features wizard dialog boxes opens and select add features, then next. On the Active Directory domain services page, review the information and then click on next button. On the config installation selection page, then click install, and on the result page verify installation succeed and click promote this server to a domain controller to start Active Directory domain services configuration wizard. So this is the first step for the creating domain controller for the setting Windows server. Next, promoting Windows Server 2012 to a domain controller. So this is nothing but our continued topic for the setting Windows Server. So the second step is promoting Windows Server 2012 to a domain controller. So first of all choose your deployment configuration. Then to install a domain controller to an existing domain, specify the domain name. Then to install a new domain in existing forest, choose child or tree domain, then browse for the forest structure. Then to install a new forest, specify the new forest name and then click next. Here one is only given a step, but dear all student, this is also our practical session. So whenever our practical session start, then I will be explain with a live demo how to configure server client and how to setting our Windows server continue step by step for a practically performance. So don't worry, here one is only theory based for your knowledge, but whenever practical session start, I will be discuss this all topic with as a practically performance. Okay, next, setting Windows server for the domain controller option. So here one is the continue this topic for the setting Windows server, and the step for the choose your domain controller option, and to create a new forest or a domain, the select functional label, click the domain name system server, specify the directory services restore mode password, and then the click next. To add a DC to a domain, choose a domain namespace as well as domain name system server, global catalog GC, or read only domain controller RODC. So RODC stands for a read only control domain. As needed, choose the site name and type the directory services restore mode password, and then click next button. If installing a DNS server, you may need to update DNS delegation. To update, enter credential with permission to create DNS delegation records in the parent DNS zone. So this one is our domain controller option for the choose. So next, here, if installing read-only domain controller, specify the group that will manage the RODC, add or remove accounts to the allow or denied password replication group, and then click next button. On the additional option page, choose one of the following option. To create a new domain, type or verify net BIOS basic input output system name of the domain, and to add a DC to domain, and then select domain controller to replicate the ADDS installation data from, or the wizard can select any. So specify where the directory for the Active Directory database, the log files and SYSVOL folder will be. Click on the next and verify your server was successfully promoted on the result page, then click close button. A reboot is required and it happens automatically by default. Next, adding DHCP role. So how to add a dynamic host configuration role. So here one is the step for the adding DHCP role. So you have to follow adding DHCP role. So first of all, to install DHCP serve, go to dashboard on server manager and click manage, then click add rules and features. So whenever to install DHCP serve and go to dashboard, you have to show this type of pop-up menu on your server screen, and then click manage and click add rules and features. So here you have to click add rules and features from the manage menu, and then whenever you click add rules and features, you have this type of dialog box show on your screen. Then next, in the role installation, Windows selects role based or feature based installation, the click next. So here one is you have to select this type of radio button, role based or feature based installation, and then click here next button. Then next, choose the server you want to install DHCP from the server pool. So here we have one server and select by default. So this is our server selection portion, and here one is only one server and select by default. So this one is our nothing but a server, and this is selected by default, and then click on here next button. Next, open add rules and feature wizard page and click add features, then click next button. So here one, whenever you open this type of add rules and features of wizard page, then you have to click add features and then click next. So you have to click first of all add features and then click the next button. Then next, install required feature for DHCP server and click next. So you have to select here the features about DHCP server, and you have to click features for the DHCP server and then click on next button. So here one is select the DHCP server features and then click the next button. Then next, once read the information about DHCP server and click next button. So here one is the DHCP server information. So this is nothing but only the add roles and feature wizard for the DHCP server information. So whenever show this type of pop-up box, you have to click only the next button, this type. Okay. Then next, in the confirm installation page, select restart the destination server automatically if required and click yes, the warning window, and click installation process will be started. So here one is whenever you select confirm installation page, so select restart destination and server automatically if required and then click yes. This is a warning pop-up box. So the yes for the warning window and click the installation will be started. Next, the installation will take a minute. When it has completed successfully, then click complete DHCP configuration link. Next, read DHCP post install configuration wizard description and click the next button. So here one is the description about DHCP post install configuration. So read the DHCP post installation configuration wizard description and then click on next button. Next, set the appropriate user for management of DHCP server. So here one is the set appropriate user, any authorized person for the management. So here give the use following user credentials, give the username and then click on the commit button. So this is the set appropriate user for management with authorized person for the DHCP server. So here one is give the username, use the following user's credential and then give the commit. Okay. Next, on the DHCP summary, Windows click close and close the DHCP installation page also. So this one is a summary about our DHCP role. So on the DHCP summary window, please click close and the close DHCP installation page. Okay. And last one, the new topic will be start. What is WINS? And this is very most important concept for the GTU exam. And this topic again and again asked having 3 marks, either 4 marks. So we'll be concentrate on this topic. So what is WINS role and what this stands for the WINS role? So WINS stands for nothing but Window Internet Name Service. WINS stands for Window Internet Name Service. So what is WINS? WINS is nothing but it stands for Windows Internet Name Service and it is a Microsoft NetBIOS name server. So we can also say WINS is Microsoft NetBIOS name server. It means NBNS. So WINS can be also say as NBNS. It means NetBIOS name server. WINS provides a dynamic NetBIOS name to IP address database and it also interacts with the browser service which assembles and provides the network neighborhood. So what is WINS? WINS is nothing but Windows Internet Name Service and we can also say as a NBNS. It means NetBIOS name server and WINS provide a dynamic NetBIOS name to IP address database and it also interact with browser service which assembles and provide the network neighborhood. So this concept is a very most important concept for the GTU exam. So dear all student, I hope you all easily understand from this PPT video lecture series. For this our WINS roles, DHCP server configuration and configure between server and client. And here one is dear all student, you have to write down only practical not a assignment. Whenever we provide assignment question, then and then you have to write assignment. Here no any assignment write down, so you have only write down practical for all subject. Okay, so I hope dear all students you all easily understand from this PPT video lecture to all topics of our chapter number 3, network implementation, planning and its configuration. Okay, thank you.